So, a wonderful good afternoon, dear LinkedIn community, Composites Lounge members, and aerospace enthusiasts or aerospace engineers. Thanks for watching our LinkedIn Live today, and I will be introducing you the DLR Institute for Systemleichtbau because they will have a one-of-its-kind event in September on 25 to 26 September in Braunschweig, just right after this short break. So, welcome, dear Sabrina, Suvik, Xenia, Steffen, Karina, Maik, Robert, and Jan Uwe to this LinkedIn Live. I will introduce you each one of these experts very, very soon. Just to let you know that we are a huge crowd today here on LinkedIn. And as I said, we love to entertain you today about EmpowerAX and the Science Day that will be taking place in September 25 and 26 at Braunschweig. And I'm so enthusiastic about it because DLR is a very renowned and very respected big institute, and we are inviting the community to this event. This event is for free and open for all enthusiasts. And I would say just use this occasion, this LinkedIn live stream, to inform yourself on what will be presented during that days. We will dive very deep into this. And before I come to each one individual, we will start now with Maik Titze for the starters. And I would like to ask Maik a few questions, and then we will go one after the other. So, Maik, we have met last time at ILA in Berlin, where you had this wonderful booth. And we were talking about, already this EmpowerAX Day and the Science Day. And I would like to ask you, first of all, you are the DLR Institute of Lightweight Systems. And what is exactly this lightweight system design? Because you have a very special approach, and I would like to inform the community on this particularity.
Hi, Ilkay. So many thanks for that question. So we renamed our institute to really strengthen the focus on the one hand side on lightweight design, lightweight structures, but with a strong focus on function integration. So we enhance the overall capability of lightweight systems to take over additional functions which are included in the load path if it's an optimal design. And that's why we renamed our institute.
So I'm just checking in the background a few things, dear community, and let's take this information of Maik and take the opportunity to thank you for watching our LinkedIn Live. Whether you're watching it now live as a live attendance, in that case, please write in the comments from where are you watching today. What is your relationship to aerospace and composites in particular, or even 3D printing? Write it in the comments. And let me continue with Maik. So you organized the Institute at the beginning of 2023. I had this already during ILA in Berlin, where I said, okay, this is a very long name, but you have established also 2 new departments, as well as some internal restructuring. Does this restructuring come very often, and why did you restructure?
I mean, our institute is focusing on lightweight systems since a long period of time. So we work along the complete process chain. So we start from the materials, we go over to simulation, to design, industrial manufacturing in an industrial scale. I think this is one thing which we are really great at. And of course, there's also the change in the world, the change also in the aerospace industry towards a greener system. And therefore, we pay the price for that and account that by creating the one new department for ecosystem. And on the other hand side, we also want to strengthen the focus to the industry and the transfer to the industry. That's why we created the Department of Lightweight Innovation. Which you abbreviate with LIN, L-I-N, if I read that correctly. That's our internal abbreviation, that's true.
Your internal, you have a lot of internal abbreviations, and it's sometimes difficult to walk through these abbreviations, but LIN sounds, of course, a nice acronym for this. And then you got this sustainability technology, right? So let's take Steffen Opitz into on this show. So let me look for Steffen. Did he disappear for some reason? Yes, it seems he has some technical problems. Or do you see him, Mike, on the panelist backstage? He's gone, right?
I'm not able to see him.
You're not able. Okay. Maybe you can explain something about then the sustainability technologies, the ECO.
Yeah, so the sustainability technology department. There Steffen is.
Now he's in. Steffen, you were disappeared for a moment, right?
Sorry, I was just kicked out of the system, but now I'm back.
Yeah, today the system seems to be a bit awake. Yeah, we were talking, Steffen, about the LIN, L-I-N, and now it's your part, the sustainability technology part. But Steffen, before you do that, maybe can you introduce yourself? I mean, Mike is already known through our interview at ILA. Steffen, I think we are talking the first time with you here live on LinkedIn. Just introduce yourself, please, to the LinkedIn community.
Sure. So welcome from my side. My name is Steffen Opitz. I joined DLR 18 years ago, and during that time I had quite a journey where I could learn and research in composite structures. I started in the adaptive systems department working on morphing helicopter rotor blades, then moved on to material development and characterization. And since the beginning of last year, I'm heading the Department of Sustainability Technologies here at our Institute of Lightweight Systems.
I'm back. So we are seeing that on Maik Titze, there is now Jan Uwe. We will get Jan Uwe for a moment out of this picture and move to Karina. Karina, are you ready? You are here, and Mike and Steffen, we see you later again, right?
I'm not sure. Should I say also something to our department and what we are doing? I just introduced myself, but I can skip this also.
No. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's your turn.
So as I said, I'm heading the Department of Sustainability Technologies, and as an institute, we have a vision. Our vision is that lightweight system construction can contribute to an emission-free tomorrow. And as a Department of Sustainability Technologies, we're also making a contribution to this vision. And this contribution is that we're trying to make sustainability more tangible. And what do I mean with making it more tangible? It means, on the one hand side, making it accessible. So assessing the sustainability of systems can be quite complex and challenging, but it is definitely needed to further improve sustainability. On the other hand, we are trying to move on from a linear economy to a circular economy, making research in circularity technologies. And I think Karina will pick up on that.
Exactly, and that's why we have Karina now with us. Karina, don't forget to unmute. Yes.
No, exactly. I won't.
Yeah. So we had, dear community, we had this morning a little challenges here, technical challenges. StreamYard seems to be not so functioning the way we'd like to have it, but right now everything looks okay. Karina, same question to you, maybe a short introduction from your side. Steffen, I will leave you in the picture for now because I may have a follow-up question to you. Karina, so introduce yourself, please.
Yeah, sure. So I started 1 year ago in Steffen's department, and I studied mechanical engineering, so that's my background, and now I work in the sustainability part, mostly in the life cycle assessment, but that's for later. And yeah, it belongs to circular economy, like Steffen also mentioned. Yeah, that's my part where I'm working in.
Okay, my follow-up question to Steffen is, before Karina, I come to you specifically. Steffen, what is the definition of circular economy? I'm hearing so many different definitions out there. Is there a definition that is agreed among researchers, or do you have a specific understanding of it?
So there is, I think there are quite some definitions outside there. I personally like to refer to the definition of the European Union, where circular economy is just described as the principle to keep things in use and to keep value of those things in use as long as possible. This might be components, but it can also be going down to recycling of materials.
It's always good to have an institute like the European Commission to quote them, because there have been many people thinking about this and trying to harmonize the understanding. And I like the idea of having the products in their life, more or less endless life. So Karina, let's come then to you. The goals that have been defined here are overly ambitious. And can you explain us on what goals you're and why you're working on these goals?
Well, first of all, the circular economy, I mean, like Steffen said, it's not new, and now we want to bring it in the composite sector because there it's necessary. If I would have a PowerPoint now, I would show these pictures where, for example, wind turbine blades are just buried in the ground because there's just no way of recycling, or it's too expensive, or what else. So that's one of the main points where you really have to work on, and that's where the circular economy comes into play. Because with this, we can somehow, you can assess us a bit, but it's not an assessment tool. It's more, for example, there are indicators where you can see, okay, for example, the material circularity indicator that shows which degree the product has of the circular economy. And yeah, that's one of the main points why we have to do it, to make all these products sustainable. You can recycle it, reuse it, or whatever. There are different ways. But like I mentioned, the wind turbine blade that are a very popular example, and that's one point where we have to work on. And that's one point of our department, to make the products, for example, more circular.
I hope it's not too intimate, this question, but how do you conduct research at your institute? I mean, I have an MRes in business administration, Master of Research, and we always started with the research question. So I can imagine that an institute like you, having so much on the table, first of all, you have to select the right research question. And how do you go alongside? Just inform us about how you process this.
I mean, the questions, they come up in projects, more or less. So it's very, you don't have just one topic, it's more than one. And for example, one project, you look at the degrees of circularity, and another one, you look at the recycling part. So you somehow figure out, okay, how can I do it better? How can I assess it? And that's, it's in projects, and the projects are meant to solve these questions.
So rather than, if I interpret this right, rather than you thinking about your own questions, you have the projects, and it's driven from external stakeholders, correct?
Not really.
Or is it both? Or is it both?
Both, of course. So you can bring up your own questions, but also external questions.
Okay, wonderful. So thank you so much. And then I will take Sabrina into the picture. Or is there anything else you want to add, Karina, before we move to
Nope.
Sabrina?
I'm fine.
Well done. Okay, thank you so much. And now we continue with Sabrina. So we have a lot of experts here. Sabrina, please introduce yourself also. And what is your job and what is your mission and what is your passion at DLR Systemleichtbau?
Yeah, I'm Sabrina. I started like Karina 1 year ago at the DLR, and I've studied environmental and hazard substance analysis, and I'm now currently working on life cycle assessment of carbon fiber reinforced polymers, or also especially I do it for resin systems, because resin systems are very complex. And I like the chemical part of it, and I like also the environmental part of it. So both comes together, and this is why I'm very passionate about.
Yes, it is very complex. You are right. And many things can, in my view, go more wrong with the resin and the matrix than with the reinforcement part. Is that agreed by you, or do you have a different stance on that?
No, I think we are talking about two different topics, because the reinforced part is more the technical part, and the resin systems, what we have is we have a huge lack of data in the life cycle assessment for these systems. So I would say these are two completely different topics.
Okay, so tell us about this life cycle assessment. Now I have to read this DIN EN ISO 14040. Can you explain us what is the 14040 just briefly, so that our viewers who may not be so iterate on this DIN, so that they understand the gist, the message of this DIN?
Yeah, so the DIN ISO 1440 and 1444 are the official standards for doing life cycle assessment. And it normally is for a broad audience, so everybody can understand what are we doing in life cycle assessment, and also gives us the guideline and the requirements we need to fulfill to do a very good life cycle assessment, like which phases of a life cycle assessment do we have to pass, and which is so special in these phases, like life cycle inventory. So there we have some special things to follow, and also we have the data quality. We have to prove this so that the work what we are doing is very good. And yeah, so this is normally the standard which everybody is using.
Okay, so what I like on this live formats is, and these dialogues, that things come up as we talk, and I understand that Steffen has some additions to what you said before. So Steffen, what important message do we need to relay on here to our community on life cycle assessment?
I'm not sure whether it's very important, but perhaps I wanted to jump in a little bit on your question on how we find our research questions.
Exactly.
And
yes.
our strategy. So overall, DLR has a strategy for aeronautic research, for space research, for all those different areas. And from this big strategy, we are bringing it down to the scientific questions. And this is done either by our program directorates, which are then structuring those internal projects, but also, of course, bottom up by our young researchers, which come up with brilliant ideas and trying to bring this into the research. So we have those both approaches, top down from the program directorate according to our strategy, and bottom up from the new ideas of our researchers.
And I think that's the right way to do that. And if you can get both into equilibrium, then that would be fantastic, because then on the one side you have real world, actual practical needs, and on the other side you get creative and you get innovative from own ideas. Wonderful. Okay, thanks, Steffen, for this wonderful addition. So Sabrina, I would like to turn back to you, and from my experience, now I'm also in the product development And one of the things is the new product development, and I'm always looking at the business developmental side of things. So there is this Boston Consulting Group matrix, the what is it? The new product and the growing star, then the cash cow and the poor dog. Are you working with frameworks like this in your life cycle assessment?
Yeah, because of the DIN ISO 14040, we have strict guidelines how to do this life cycle assessment. It starts with the goal and scope definition and followed by the life cycle inventory, the life cycle impact assessment, and between all is this interpretation phase, which we can include into every phase, but also at the end to interpret our results. And because it's so fixed in the DIN ISO norm, we have this framework, but we just have this one framework that we have to follow for the first time. And the second thing is more than when we speak about data quality. So there's something like called pedigree metrics, and some databases are working with this, and but other ones are working with some other data quality guidelines, for example. So we have a lot of space in the different phases, but the framework will stay the same.
Mm-hmm. And maybe it will be not a surprise to you if I ask you, what role does AI play in all this data collection?
Yeah, yeah, this is a big question for our department as well. So I'm currently working also in a project where we try to use AI to collect some data that we can use again in for the life cycle assessment, especially for building up our life cycle inventory. For example, we can use maybe safety data sheets or something like this. So yeah, AI plays a role, but we're at the very beginning of this, so I cannot say much more about it, but we have this in mind, and I think this will be very helpful for us in the future.
Yes, okay. Steffen, about the matrix, maybe one more addition from your side.
Yeah, so when we are looking on life cycle assessment, we are not evaluating businesses like in this Boston Consulting matrix. We are really looking on the environmental impact and of certain technologies or services. But this does not mean that we are not assessing the different strategies of our ideas to bring them into the market in terms of transfer of inventions into innovations. And this is where our LIN department, where Maik is deputy head of, is supporting us as researchers a lot, just to structure our research a little bit and to see where are our stakeholders, where can we really have also good business models.
Okay, so yeah, of course, with such a research institute that you are representing, the business developmental side should not be the driving factor, is clear. It was just out of curiosity that I was asking this, and thank you for this declaration. So, Steffen, we are here today, of course, also to promote your 2 days that you will be conducting in Braunschweig. Thank you, by the way, for opening your doors. I think that is beyond exceptional, yeah, that an institute like you is really opening to the public and you have these open doors. I really appreciate that, and I love to see our community being in Braunschweig on 25th and 26th, of course. So let me talk first about the Wissenschaftstag. Can you run us through the history of the Wissenschaftstag before we dive into this year's motto?
Yeah, so the Wissenschaftstag is an event that we are having each year, and it's always dedicated to a specific topic. We found that this is a very valuable instrument to come into the exchange with our industry partners, to get a little bit more feedback from them, where we really need to focus our research on, but also from other academia partners to get into contact, to get into discussions. I think this is a great opportunity.
Yeah, and alongside these speakers, which is both DLR speakers and also external speakers, I understand you have also an area where you're showing demonstrators. Is there a focus on the demonstrators, or is it just showing general the capabilities and the projects that you are conducting?
No, there is a special focus on our demonstrators, which is always dedicated to the topic of the current Wissenschaftstag. To show everything what we are doing in one event would just be too much. We are picking out the cherries, especially for this event.
Which makes absolutely sense to stay on the topic that has been shown above. Okay, is there anything you would like to elaborate on this year's topic, that is sustainability and resource efficiency through lightweight systems? Here we go, we have systems again.
Yeah. So as mentioned perhaps a little bit before, those systems are extremely complex to assess them and also to really get them working. And therefore it is of very big importance to get into discussion with our partners and also with the industry. And also if we want to really make this transition from a linear economy to a circular economy, this is something which has to span all the industry sectors. It's not possible only focusing on aeronautics. And I think also this is a really good opportunity to meet persons from different industry sectors and to get into discussion with them to find common wordings for life cycle assessment, perhaps also to agree on common standards on how we are doing those assessments, and also to come up with new ideas which are not focused on one sector rather than spanning multiple sectors. I think this is the right event for doing this, and we have quite mature research topics where we are investigating already a long time on them, but we also have new ideas. For example, for making production of composite materials more sustainable by using molds which are made of cardboard, which was a great idea, bottom up from a young researcher. And I think it's interesting because you're very flexible, you can build them very quickly, and would really like to see a lot of people also watching us now and getting into discussion with them. I think that's my main benefit of this event, having interesting talks.
Absolutely. So I'm seeing just Jessica in the back end. She has dropped the event registration. So everyone, please check out this Wissenschaftstag, in English, Science Day, one-to-one translated, and see the topics. And while they are checking this event, Steffen, do you have 2 or 3 highlights for me where you say, okay, these are really 3 highlights where we have put a lot of energy and thoughts into this?
Yeah.
Or would you say it's the whole Wissenschaftstag and an exciting event?
It's difficult picking now 1 or 2 presentations out of this, but we have presentations from Uwe Bayer from Airbus, giving Airbus perspective of sustainable use on materials in a circular economy. We also have Holger Ruckdeschel from Neue Materialien Bayreuth, more looking on the automobile perspective of everything. And as I mentioned, we have those demonstrator area where we are looking on new ideas, how to make composites more sustainable, as mentioned, those cardboard molds.
Okay, so we are greeting Bayreuth from near of Bayreuth. Mr. Ruckdeschel, he is to me Luftlinie 6-7 kilometers, not so far. So the world is coming closer. Now let me greet Steffen, also Jan Uwe. So Jan Uwe is here in this place, and Steffen, I'm sure we will have a short talk at the end one more time when it comes to the golden nuggets of 3D printing. Bye for now. See you later. Yeah.
See you.
Yes. Now, Jan, one of the things that cross my mind is quality assurance, quality management of composite parts. Why is that? I'm working 30 years plus in the material manufacturing, and it always hurts my heart when you have to destroy material just to get quality KPIs, figures, physical data, and so on and so on. Now that I'm sure is an entirely different show to talk about that, maybe hours or even days about it. If you could introduce yourself, what is your role, particularly with quality management systems? And then if you could elaborate what you are doing to improve quality management systems on composites.
Sure, thank you, Ilkay, for the introduction. So my name is Jan-Uwe Schmidt. I'm working as a research associate with DLR for about 3.5 years now, and I've been studying aerospace engineering before. So my main focus is continuous fiber reinforced filament-based printing, and in all these areas, I'm working in the quality assurance of these parts. So quality assurance as such needs to be separated in between the different sections of it. We need to think about quality assurance during the production of the semi-finished products, the material itself, and of the process afterwards. So all quality that we don't assure is in the material that we get into the printer that needs to be translated into mitigated into the product that we print afterwards. And what we do here in DLR are mainly two quality assurance techniques that we develop on the printhead, or on the different printheads that we have in-house and that we have developed in-house. So we focus on pulsation behavior. So if you think about printing of fiber reinforced material, short fiber reinforced material, either granule based or filament based, you always get pulsation behavior that comes out of the nozzle, the material comes out of the nozzle not in a uniform manner. And the different material flows over time, they add up in different agglomerations of material in the printed parts. And what we do here is that we try to, actually measure this pulsation behavior correlated to some data that we can generate in our printhead, or that we can evaluate in our printhead, and transform that back to the process and compensate it in before, so that we actually know what the printhead is actually doing before the printer does it, so that we can compensate it. And the other factor that needs to be done, because if you have if you imagine a wall that you want to print just layer by layer, and you have different wall thicknesses, it can't withstand the strengths that you may want to have afterwards. Or if you have one line next to each other like this, and the pulsation behavior of the lines go like this, there will be voids inside, and you don't want them. Otherwise, you have air or other gases inside the part, and if you have them inside, you can't really have a quality assurance or quality passed material afterwards. And the second system that we use, or that we develop here, is you all know that if you build a layer by layer setup, and you have the temperature from the first layer, and then you print the second layer with a temperature where the temperature separates a difference to the underneath layer. And what happens there is that you need to make sure that the bonding behavior from one layer to the other is good enough, so that that it doesn't come off after time. And what we do there is that we have a model, and that we can trace it in the printing process, or in the building of the actual part, and can calculate the different the temperature behavior over time for the different layers, and can analyze the tool, the part, and see whether we are able to have a proper connection from one layer to the other.
Jan-Uwe, this sounds, if I get this correct, this sounds a lot of simulation, predictive or preventive work. Is that assumption correct?
There is a lot of simulation involved, but the first things that you need to do is that you need to understand the processes correctly. And that's the major work that we are currently doing, and where I'm focusing on as well. We need to understand the processes, how they actually behave, where data can be correlated in between each other. So, for example, the pulsation behavior can't measure the pulsation in real time during the print of a part, at least not in a way that you are flexible enough with your printhead without getting extra sensors onto it. So what you need to make sure is that you understand the behavior of your printhead. Doesn't matter if it's granule-based, filament-based, melt pump, whatever. You need to understand the behavior and correlate the behavior, the material flow behavior of the extruder to the data that you can generate inline. So you have different sensors, pressure, torque, whatever, and you need to see which of the available data can be correlated correctly, and then simulation comes into the game and needs to be used to simulate the actual behavior and then compensate the behavior to that you get proper material flow.
Mm-hmm. Well, one more question. So this simulation, you have a specific software for this that you've coded yourself, or is that software available on the market that an institute like you uses?
We work with different industry partners on the different quality assurance issues, and what we always try to make sure is that we are closest to industry as possible, and that we develop add-ons with the industry partners to the existing systems, so that we are able to get the technology into the market very quickly. And so we have self-developed software, but it's always there to support the software that's already out there to be in inclusion to them later.
Okay, wonderful. So Jan-Uwe, make the bridge now to Suvik. Let's talk recycling. So your systems, once you understood the process, as presumably doesn't differ between it's a virgin material or a recycled material. Is that right?
It does differ quite a bit depending on the material you use. So depending on whether you're using continuous fiber reinforced filaments for printing or chopped fibers, the polymer degrades as well over time. So that are all aspects how we need to pre-treat them to get them back into the process, how the process changes the temperatures, the pressures, the speeds that you can run. And there we have a lot of interconnecting to the recycling department, and my colleague Suvik is actually doing quite a lot of work with us to improve those points and connect it.
So that was a great bridge. Thank you, Jan-Uwe. It was really great talking to you.
Thank you.
So Suvik, recycling. Where does this passion come from? Why does Suvik work on recycling?
Yeah, that's a very complex question. So
in one sentence, please.
In one sentence, yeah. It's from the materials point of view, it is very interesting. That's why we work on recycling. It's not me, it's a full team that works on recycling. And why we say from the materials point of view is whenever you look into commercially available recycling processes that we have, there's a lot of them out there. Commercially, we talk a lot about mechanical recycling, that is crushing and grinding and pyrolysis. And the word that you'll hear is called downsizing. So recycling generally leads to downsizing in terms of mechanical recycling. So what does downsizing mean? We get the waste from a particular industrial application, be it automotive for one part, wind turbine and whatever. And when we recycle it, it is not used in the same application, but in a different application. So from the material point of view, it is quite a challenge to limit this downcycling. And the second thing that is interesting from the recycling point of view is to demonstrate a value stream for commercially recycled products. For example, we have a lot of recycled carbon fiber-based nonwovens in the market, but there is not a very large area where you will see, or examples where you will see these are being used in the same application or tried to be using the same application in which the waste is generated from. So what Jan and we are trying to do in a joint interdisciplinary project is to demonstrate a recyclability via reprocessing of these nonwovens-based carbon fiber waste to process high-performance filaments, which can then be used ideally in the same application. So we talk with recyclers from all over the world, so right from the west coast of USA to Japan. And what we have found out is that most of the waste that they recycle via pyrolysis or any other method that they use is from the aerospace sector. And this is what we are trying to limit. We are trying to limit the downsizing of the recycled material through the development of processes, which is a plug to what my role is as an engineer in Steffen's Department of Sustainability Technologies. We are responsible for developing recycling technologies for commercially available waste. And what we are trying to do within our projects is to work on these two ideas and try to address this limiting downsizing and to show reuse options or second life options for commercially available recycled product. So this is, in short, well, it's a kind of a longish kind of one sentence, but it gives basically what we are trying to do together with our other departments in the institute.
Yeah, it was only a funny statement with the one sentence, because usually things are so much interwoven that one sentence normally is not sufficient. But it's a running gag, because everyone says you have to be quick, you have to be fast, explain it in one sentence. And as we've seen in your case, it's far too complex to tell this in one sentence. But can I be a bit provocative here? Two things come to my mind, and I would like to have your opinion on this. The first one is greenwashing. Have you heard that term, greenwashing, before? Now, when you say you have to limit the downsizing, that means, of course, you have to get some sort. So I imagine this like a ladder. So on the downside, you get original behavior that should be as far as is possible, and from the top, you have this pressure that is recycled and lowering the features. So where is the optimum place where you say, okay, I need to limit the downsizing, but still not go into greenwashing with this?
Yeah. I'll give you a very personal perspective to it. So
yeah, please, a personal opinion. Yes.
Yeah. So I am an instrumental engineer by training. Like my bachelor's in instrumentation engineering, and we dealt a lot with sensors and transducers and stuff like that. So one of the things we found out is that the purpose of a sensor or a transducer is not to achieve the set point, but to limit the gap between the set point and the measured value. Because if you have PID controllers everywhere, even the remote control in your TV has some kind of a thing like that. And if you want to get the set point and the measured value to be the same, you can't afford it. It's unaffordable. So how we try to avoid greenwashing is to get this difference between the original applicability where the waste comes from and what we process, to limit this gap, which is again coming back to limiting the downsizing of it. So it's a different term. We have consciously overall within our department, and thanks to the very transparent working that we have within our department and interdepartmental things, we are very much numbers dependent. So we test, we see what we observe, we have a process which our colleagues from ADCOMS, which is Maik and Jan, they have a process. We try to bring in our ideas with materials into the process. Then we compare between the recycled material and the virgin material. We look at the numbers, and together we sit together to try to optimize the process and the material selection in a way that we limit this downsizing so that we don't end up in using that greenwashing term. We are
okay. Thank you for attending to this question.
No problem.
Because that's one of my missions. Yeah, I hear a lot sustainability and Nachhaltigkeit and recycling, circular, and I want to make sure that our community gets the best of the best, and therefore I'm asking these questions in order to really prove our case that composites are sustainable. And if we can recycle composites, that's even more green for the future. Okay, wonderful, Suvik. Now, the second, I said I want to be a little provocative in two parts. One is greenwashing. That's more the political side of things and cultural side. And the other one now dive into the process and the technologies. Now, I've seen so many different kinds of recycling processes in composites. Now, they're also getting innovation prizes. Don't get me wrong. Fine. But there are so many different ones, and I don't see there is one accepted, defined process. Is that only me thinking this, or did you observe something similar? And if one thing could be improved, what would it be in your opinion?
It's a complex question, and it's a very complex situation that we are facing. So if the community or if anybody wants a one-stop solution, that a one process exists and everything works fine, that process has to be the one that limits downsizing so that we have like completely zero downsized material coming out of it. The process is not at all costly, so that the virgin material and the recycled material is not at the same price, but the process is so cheap that the recycled material comes out cheaper than it, and it completely replaces the virgin material. If, personally, in my opinion, if you can address these three within one process, then you can say, okay, this is the process, this is the holy grail or the mothership of the processes of recycling processes that you can use for anything. This is in part saying, without taking into consideration that we are talking about different types of plastics, because composites is not just one kind of composites. It's kind of like a whole array of material that you have. So you have thermoplastic, thermosets. These are different details. It's kind of like aluminium-based metals, iron-based metals, and all of these things. So we have to take into consideration that if there is one process which can address all of this and all type of composite material, then we can say that one process will be enough. But as you know, like reality is generally different from what ideal situation is. So the reality of the matter is it is difficult to combine all of that, at least from the current technological point of view that we have. So we still have to try to address individual pointers and try to hit one nail on its head, and then maybe we get a full structure out of it at some point in time. At this point, we don't have an answer that this is the best process. There are different processes which suit certain kind of ways, commercially available in research and development phase, and those are the ones we can refer to at this point in time.
But now you nailed it. I'm 30 years in business in materials manufacturing, and I always say, welcome to the reality of production. Okay, so but let me take then Robert into the picture, and let's move Suvik to Robert for a minute. Can you make the bridge from your task to Robert's task? What is the connection there? Suvik, question to you.
Yeah. So we do a lot of sustainability activities where we have kind of like the demonstrators and new materials coming up, and then it's the AdComs department and that department which basically helps us analyze and assess whether the new materials we are trying to build in some like Robert's department, Jan and Maik's department, that helps to test if this is actually in reality. So they help us give a very, very realistic feedback into whether or how we should improve our processes so that we can try to limit the downsizing. Like I've used downsizing enough for today. I don't think nobody needs to hear it anymore. But yeah, hope you get the point, basically.
Marketing is to tell a message 100 times. So it's not sufficient to tell it 1-2 times. So we have to complete it 100 times. But Suvik, we have a few questions from the community to you. Just bear with us for a moment. I will talk to Robert now, and we will come back to you. Ksenia will be screening the questions from the community, and we will bring her into the picture in a moment.
No problem. Yeah.
Okay, see you. So, Robert, nice introduction then from Suvik, but maybe also an introduction formally from your side. What is your passion at DLR and what is your mission?
Yeah, thank you very much, Ilkay. It's a pleasure to be here. So I'm working for 13 years now at the DLR. For my background, I'm a structural engineer, so I simulate things, and my research field here at DLR is to develop methods for manufacturing process simulation, such as additive manufacturing, autoclave processes, or advanced fiber placement. And yeah, this is also my passion here, to simulate manufacturing processes.
Which, as we heard from Suvik, are or can be complex systems. Yeah.
That's right.
Exactly. So coming back to my experience, I had this great interview with Xenia, and was it Lars Windel of SY-Wissenschaftstag at JEC World? And I've seen this track going alongside in the 3D printing, and this, in my head, I thought, how can you simulate this path and the related quality system to it? Can you explore on how you've managed to get such a clear product, and how do you then measure whether it is visually appealing? Yeah, it's nice to look at it, but as we know, in quality and materials in particular, you don't know what's going on inside. So do you have any insights in how do you simulate this?
Yeah, so regarding the quality assurance, the software vendors developed highly sophisticated software tools in the recent years. So for example, we have the partner Ansys, and they provide an additive manufacturing wizard, which guides you through the entire modeling process, which make it much more easier to create the model. So afterwards, you can integrate your own G code, and then you can predict process-induced deformations and also residual stresses in order to prove if your final part geometry meet your tolerance requirements. Then afterwards, you can also study the effect of varying process parameters to the final material and component properties in order to derive robust manufacturing processes. So furthermore, the simulation enable to identify critical areas, for instance, where you have overheating or over extrusion, under extrusion, such kind of things. So then with the solution of our partners SWNS and 90 Labs, it's also possible to consider continuous fiber reinforced filaments in the fiber path planning as well as in the structure evaluation. Usually this is not possible, or this is just possible for unreinforced materials or short fiber reinforced materials. And yeah, we at DLR, we are working on methods to evaluate the bonding strengths and also on calculation or to predict the degree of crystallization in order to check and improve the part performance and the part quality. So I think in a nutshell, it's really worth to consider also simulation in the additive manufacturing development process. Yeah.
It reduces cost, it reduces risks, makes much sense. So that is also one of the huge topics of the EmpowerAX Day. Will you be showing this?
So we have no presentation. So the focus is more on the industrial partners But we will be there with a table and a monitor where we show some insights, which kind of simulation are possible, and we will be there. So I will be there with my partner Felix Winkelmann, and then we are happy to exchange our ideas or with the needs from the industry. So so we will have a small booth.
Okay, because one thing is explaining this verbally and listening, and I can listen to you hours and hours when you explain that. But the other thing is then seeing the graphs and the materials and touching everything like we always like to do it. So, Robert, thank you so much for introducing this very, very important topic. And I'm really seeing also a system thinking in all your jobs that you have presented today. Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, and now I will introduce you to my first officer, Ksenia Königke. She's the first officer. You know what a first officer is, community? A first officer in my LinkedIn Lives is the person who screens and looks at your comments and your questions. And we have seen there seems to be a bug with StreamYard. I'm not happy with StreamYard today at all, because some of the comments show here up in the dashboard and some comments show up only on the LinkedIn chat. So what we will do is, Ksenia has seen some of your comments and they have been disappeared again, and I'm seeing them still here in the dashboard. So I will show you partly the comment or the question that is coming in, and on the smartphone, there's also another one that I will be reading because I cannot show it in on this screen for some reason. So, Ksenia, I have had the honor and pleasure already to interview you at JEC, even on 2 days. On the first day at your fantastic booth, and on the second day at the booth of your partner, where we had Lars Windel and you explaining this prototype. But just formally for our community, could you please introduce yourself? Besides being first officer of this show today, what is your true passion at DLR Systemleichtbau?
Of course, thank you for being here. I'm Ksenia Königke, and I'm the Innovation Lab Manager of our DLR Innovation Lab EmpowerAX. And in EmpowerAX, we are focusing on everything that has to do with fiber reinforced 3D printing and how to bring this technology into industrial use. And I'm responsible for everything that is not really deep into the scientific work. So everything that you see outside the DLR Innovation Lab, so the public relations, everything that has to do with contracts, with marketing, with partner management, with project management, that are my tasks in the Innovation Lab.
Okay, so we got your role then at DLR defined, and community, you have to know that Ksenia is very passionate about also this event, and we are organizing and coordinating this activity here on LinkedIn together. And I'm seeing now, Ksenia, that Philip has made another attempt. So let me see if I can get now this comment into the picture. So he's saying, Suvik, I might be able to help you out some high-oriented RCF tapes. We are currently working on a very ambitious demonstrator. So Suvik, I would like to take you also shortly into this discussion here. Tell us about besides the offer of Philip, which is of course very kind, but can you explain us what is the particular challenge with RCF tapes? Now I got you, right?
Yeah. You can get me to every question on this thing, so you won't be surprised. The challenge is, so there are different ways you can have a tape. A tape, if you look at historically, you can have this VHS tape to the cassette tapes to everything. So the film or the strip that you get, that's kind of like a tape form, right? And RCF-based material, the issue so far, sticking point is you cannot get continuous fibers out of a recycling process. Commercially, it is very, very difficult. As far as my knowledge goes, the limited knowledge I have, I have not seen anything like that. Now, if you make tapes, those continuous band of material that you want to make with something which is a recycled carbon fiber, which is not continuous, you have to stick them one after the other. And when you stick them one after the other, as with sticking goes, you will not have a uniform thickness throughout the length of that tape. And when you have non-uniform thickness and when you try to use it, the first problem arises for us is we don't have a uniformity in the property, or as we like to call it, there is a lack of isotropy in the property of the material we're trying to process. So this is one of the biggest challenges. Like, I know Philip, actually, he works for one of our very close, I would say, partners and friends for us. And I trust Philip's opinion on this, that he has good RCF-based tapes. So I will try to talk to him and see if we get around the problems that we have been facing so far, because the RCF-based tapes we were able to source in for one of our projects. We had this issue of thickness along the length of the tape. That primarily arises because you use binders and adhesives to form these tapes by sticking those small carbon fiber-based parts or the RCF-based carbon fiber-based parts, and then that becomes another kind of I would not say problem or a sticking point when we try to process it.
Okay, wonderful. So we are connecting the people through composites here. That is great. Another one, and as I said, this is a bit mysterious to me, that doesn't show up here in our, I'm sorry, this was the wrong one. No, it's the right one, but why is it ticking? It should not tick. One more time. Okay, take the checkbox out. So there is a friend, LinkedIn user, Oliver Lehmann. So this does not show up in the dashboard, but it's in the LinkedIn chat for sure. Oliver says, circular economy is turning waste into an asset, because we were, wondering what is the right definition. I would like to have your opinion, Suvik, and your opinion, Ksenia, on this.
I would like, Xenia, you can start, and then.
Yeah, ladies first. Yeah. If Ksenia has an opinion on this one.
Yes, I have one. So I think
he's giving as an example the reusable bottles, for example.
Yeah, that's I'm from my study side, I studied in the area of business administration, and they were also talking a lot about recycling and everything, and not only marketing but also in everything that has to do with processes. And the recycled bottle is one of the main examples since years. And I think there's a lot of true if you say circular economy turning waste into an asset. But it's if you come deeper into the topic of fiber reinforced materials or of composite materials, it gets harder and harder, because you put a lot of different materials together to get a special function, and it's really hard to get them to divide them then. And this is the main point why we developed a new department for that, to solve this problem.
Okay, so Steffen, one more time. I believe you have to leave in a moment. What is your stance on this definition?
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I have to leave, and I will not go into the very details of this definition, but I would rather give one idea to the overall audience listening here. That making this linear economy to a circular economy and tackling the challenges of recycling, of sustainability assessment, is something that we are facing all together. And that's why communication and exchange between different sectors is of major importance. And events like our Science Day or the EmpowerAX Day offer the perfect stage for this exchange. Sorry for not being very precise on your question, but for me it was important to at least tell you that, and before I have to leave.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for joining, Steffen. And I say bye-bye for now.
Bye.
Okay, Suvik, then back to you. So assets. Xenia says, Ryan, from the business and administration side, assets are in a balance sheet very, very important. Yeah. So from a technical side, chemical side.
I agree with this. I agree with Oliver's comments that circular economy is turning waste into an asset. So we work with some of the major carbon fiber manufacturers in the world, and one of our closest manufacturer, we reached out to them to see if they have, for this project we're currently working on, to see if they have any carbon fiber based waste which we can use. And then they mentioned that they have some production waste. They have two types of production waste, one which does not pass the quality control because the fibers are not continuous enough, and the other is basically some stock which is stored in their storage facility and will expire. And once it is expired, they have to dispose it somehow. So we decided to take it in and use it to process high-performance filaments out of it. Or the target was to process high-performance filaments with high-performance-based thermoplastic material, which we were successful, and we have actually demonstrated it earlier in this year at the JEC in Paris. We are currently in the phase of benchmarking it, testing it, and so far it doesn't look bad. This is a researcher saying it looks promising.
Okay, very good. So, Suvik, thank you for joining. And as you see, you had a lot of traction, a lot of questions here, because recycling is one of the top topics in composites. Thank you so much. And I'm turning now to Xenia and to Mike to conclude this session today. Thank you. So, Xenia, we have this Wissenschaftstag, which I discussed with Steffen, and now we got the EmpowerAX. And let me say, at least recycling, the quality management system, and I understand digital transformation are the three major headlines of EmpowerAX. Can you elaborate on this?
Yes, in this year, we focus on the topic of sustainability, quality assurance, and also the process qualification for data topics, for that new digital technologies are needed. So we are right into the topic of edge technologies and digital transformation. And it's the third time that we perform the EmpowerAX Day in this format like we do it. And we started with just a state of the art in 2022. Last year we had a lot of application cases, and this year we go into the topic of quality assurance, sustainability, process qualification, because the whole topic of fiber reinforced 3D printing gets more and more into the industrial use. And so we are now at this point where it's important to know how can you assure the quality, how can you be sustainable, how can you secure your processes. And we are very happy that we have a great stage program with a lot of participants from the industry that shows the newest developments and how they handle things, what's important for them, and also what are the hurdles to overcome to use this technology industrially.
Okay. Fantastic and very intriguing program that you have built up. This is the how many edition have you done before?
2. So in this format, we started in 2020, but there it was Corona. It was very hard. Corona has been online, and in this format that we do it in our wing lab with all the 3D printing infrastructure around it, and that the participants and speakers have the possibility to present their companies and their technologies on site. We do it since 2022, so it's the third format like this.
Yeah. So, dear community, Jessica has dropped also the registration button into the comments. So go there and check out the EmpowerAX Day. So we're basically talking about 2 days in Braunschweig, both of them free to join for the community. Just apply there for 1 day or the other day or for both days. Yeah, you're welcome.
Both days is bad.
both days.
So you will find a lot of topics that build on each other, and you can get a lot of information from the one day to the other. So I would really recommend to travel for 2 days.
Yes, absolutely. So now I get Maik back into the picture because my other co-speakers, which are in the background right now, listen please to this. The final question is, what sort of added value, Mehrwert in German, or what sort of advice, or what is your one tip that you would give from your function, from your subject to the community? I would like to start with Xenia and Maik, and then I will continue with Sabrina, Suvik, Karina, Robert, whoever is still waiting in the backstage. So any tips from you, Xenia and Maik, for the community?
So my tip is to attend at the EmpowerAX Day and also the Wissenschaftstag, because you will get in contact with a lot of people from the industry. You will see pre-developments that you cannot find published, and we have a really, really nice atmosphere. So the hurdles to get in contact with the community, it doesn't matter if you're interested in the battery for 3D printing or in the lightweight system and sustainable technologies. We have a really, really nice atmosphere in our Wing Lab where you can get in contact and dive deep into the topic and discuss everything that you want. So my tip from my side is visit us in September here in Braunschweig.
Okay, over to you, Maik.
Yeah, so if we focus on additive manufacturing with fiber reinforced materials for the tip, then I would say the technology is matured quite fast in the present. And I think we are really at the point where we need to start to discuss about the application scenarios, especially in composite industry. And we in our institute, we believe that the additive manufacturing especially will be a promising technology if it's combined with the ecosystem, let's say, of the more conventional composite manufacturing. So how to combine these both worlds. And this will also take into account the quality assurance, of course, and the process design itself. So as Xenia already mentioned, I would propose you to come to Braunschweig, visit us, start a discussion with us, and figure out together how to combine additive manufacturing.
Okay, for some reason, I don't know whether it was my mistake, Maik, your mic was muted for the last part. But anyway, let's continue with Sabrina. Please unmute your mic.
Yeah, my tip is to get in contact also with Karina, myself, and also our colleague Jens, because the topic of life cycle assessment was a little bit short in this LinkedIn Live. So I think there are many things to discuss as well. And also, if you want to know how circular economy and life cycle assessment could fit together, where we can benefit from the knowledge from each topic, then you should definitely join or talk to us when we're on the Science Day. So yeah, that would be my tip for the Science Day.
So you are there as well, and we can talk in much more depth with you. And by the way, it's always possible that we make a follow-up LinkedIn Live and focus only on life cycle assessment, which I think is a very, very hot and important topic. So great that you said that, and it's listed in my brain now. Good. So then we have next in line, Karina. Karina, what is your tip? What's your call to action?
Well, from my point of view, I'm from the same area like Sabrina, so I can repeat what she said. But also the term sustainability, it's always, nobody is sure when he's using it, if he's using it right. But yeah, we are kind of there to also give examples how sustainability can be, lived in a good way. So yeah, that's what you can see at the open day.
Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm asking always, what do you understand under this and this circular economy, sustainability? Because there seems to be, depending on context, different definitions over there. Okay, then Robert. Robert, what's your call to action? Oh, Robert is frozen. Is Robert frozen for you guys as well?
My opinion,
now
it's a great opportunity.
Now he's coming back. Now he's coming back.
Now I'm back. Can you hear me?
Now you're back. Yes.
Okay. Okay, perfect. So my tip is, visit my colleague Felix and me at our booth. So we will prepare something special. We will show another possibility to simulate additive manufacturing with open source code. This may be interesting for you. It's based on period dynamics, and otherwise, so I visited all events, and I can really recommend it. It's a nice place and a very good opportunity to network. Yeah, thank you.
So then we have Jan-Uwe back again. Jan-Uwe, what would be your call to action?
Thank you. My call to action is that you get in contact to myself or my colleagues to talk about the quality assurance and the quality management that needs to be done to continue to get a 100% certifiable part. In our opinion, we are close to it, very close to it. And for the last few percent, we always ask for specific use cases, specific cases that we can show and demonstrate to show to other industry partners afterwards.
So, okay. So one more time, last and final time, Suvik, your call to action.
Please visit us. You get to have a kind of like a small glimpse of what we are doing, what we are planning to do, what our future plans are in terms of our work on sustainability and recycling, technology and process development, along with other departments. And you'll get to know what we are working on for the near future and currently.
Okay, so wonderful, everyone. And thank you for joining this LinkedIn Live. And I would like to say with our host, Xenia, thank you so much for this, your attendance, whether you are live here or you watch it now on replay, which is the higher probability, or even you listen to this on the podcast. Xenia, so one more time regarding the 2 days, run us through the facilities. So when the people arrive, give us some organizational hints. Where do they park? Can they come with the train to you, or do you have an airport at your factory? I mean, you are DLR. I guess you have someone can also fly in if they want. How is the situation there? Where to register? Where to go?
So after you registered over the links that my colleague Jessica sent into the chat, you will have your registration confirmation, and then you can arrive here. We are located next to an airport station.
I knew it.
So if you have a private jet, you can organize that. But normally most of the people come with the train by car or with a flight over Hanover. On the website of the 2 days, you have a lot of information how you can get here, about the public transport, about hotel recommendations, and how to find your way to us. If you arrive here, we have this place with our colleagues. It's called Die Wache. They will have a list and say where you can park. And afterwards, you will find signs which way you have to go and where you can find the event location all over the place. So in the last years, no one got lost here, also if it's really big. Here, and then you come into the hall. It's a big hall, about 360 square meters, with the whole infrastructure and a lot of demonstrators. We built a cool stage in this hall. And you see the speakers on the stage, and next to them, there will be a robot and a lot of different technology demonstrators. There will also be a small in-house fair where all the speakers and exhibitors have the possibility to show their company, to show what they are doing, to show the technologies, materials, and so on. And you will have a program with different slots of presentations. And between these slots, you will have a lot of time to network and to have lunch, to have snacks, to get a cold or hot drink together with the people you are interested in. And that will be the framework. And this is the framework for both of the events. So in the EmpowerAX, on the EmpowerAX Day on the 25th of September, we have an open network buffet after the event, so in the afternoon. And on the next day, on the ILA Wissenschaftstag, you will also have the possibility to visit the hangar of the DLR, which is also very interesting. And so, yeah, it's nice to stay a little bit longer to get in contact and to see the facility.
Yeah, can you explain what is the hangar? I mean, are there planes really to see and spot,
yes.
or?
Okay. Yes, it's the hangar. So DLR is an aerospace center, so we have our own airplanes and the airplane infrastructure. And so we have a big hangar, which is directly connected with the field where you can start with the airplanes. And my colleagues from the organization team of the Wissenschaftstag organized it, that you can visit this hangar and see the different airplanes and helicopters that the DLR has, or that our institute or our place here in Braunschweig has. And not all of them will be there, but some. And so you have the possibility to see that. And normally, not everyone has this possibility. So,
you see, guys, I didn't realize this. So we will be seeing planes in the hangar of DLR, and this is like a small ILA experience, ILA Berlin experience, right? Where you also go on the apron and you see the planes. What's the largest plane you have, Xenia? Do you know on top of your head?
I think, but I'm not sure if I'm right, but I think it's the I-Star. This one was also at the ILA. It's an airplane of the middle class, I would say. And this is our research airplane, and normally it is located there.
Okay, wonderful. So may I have a look into the cockpit?
I don't know.
Okay, I need to get special permission on that. So this is my Antrag now. Anyway, okay, thank you, Xenia, and everyone. I will put one more time everyone into the picture for all your very valuable contributions. It was I really enjoyed it. I hope I'm not Jan also here. Yes. So I really enjoyed all your contributions, and I'm seeing systems thinking all the way along. So the storyline was really great. And dear community, if you liked this LinkedIn Live, and if you see there is some value in attending this event, please come and see the EmpowerAX and Science Day and all these persons then in live, and all these experts, and really challenge them with your questions in Braunschweig. And I think that would be a fantastic, great opportunity, not only to exchange the latest ideas on composites, quality systems, lifecycle management. What do we have? Digital transformation, recycling, and all these hot topics to really elevate the composites world into the future. And so I'm really excited about that. You feel my emotions and energy here that comes up. So it's also for me really the first time to be in a sort of an environment where you not only have a conference with, let's say, booths and posters, but really to have demonstrators and real life planes over there in the hangar. So that's really exciting, and I really very much looking forward to this. And there are still some places, some limited places available. I think first comes, first serve. I would say just right after this LinkedIn Live, hop over and book your 2 days. Or if you can make it only on one of the 2 days, book your spot and be together with us. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.